wanted to get the mythology of the Anunnaki straightened out.
Okay.
Because according to Sitchin and his work, the Anunnaki came here some several 100,000 to 400,000 years ago. And that was when we were altered genetically and used as a slave race. Now, how much of that is accurate?
Stitchin's first 3 books are very accurate, though his timelines are off.
Okay.
Stitchin's work were co-opted, and the reason why, when Stitchin wrote his books, he had a multidimensional being helping him translate the texts. He was a highly spiritual person that had a purpose to come in here. His first 3 books, up to The Wars of Gods and Men, are extremely accurate. Time's a little off because Earth has changed time streams so many times, you can't be accurate anymore in those times.
Right.
The Anunnaki were lured here. Their planet, Nibiru, whatever you want to call it, is what's called a free-roaming galactic entity planet.
Okay.
They have a drive inside them that doesn't need a solar system to support it.
Okay.
So they have a different version of a planetary drive. We have a unity consciousness drive.
Okay.
They have a dimensional drive. So the consciousness just needs a leadership society to function psychically with the crystalline technology of the dimensional drive so they can go anywhere they want. And when they go anywhere they want, they can do whatever it is that's within their free will to do. There was a multidimensional being, currently the one that's in charge of all of the Arab countries.
Okay.
Its pieces, parts are all the heads of the Arab families, the so on and so forth, the decision-making people, and the one layer below the decision-making people, and then their banking families. So that's one being. He's the one that lured them from where they were by creating carrot and stick. So they came to a world and saw leftover technology in a destroyed world. They followed to the next world, to the next world, to the next world, until finally they came to our solar system where there was nobody defending it. Completely empty. All of the light and dark forces had petered themselves out and literally couldn't fight anymore. They were done. Earth was abandoned.
Yeah.
Literally abandoned, except for what was left of us before the rise of Atlantis.
Okay.
Lemuria had fallen, multiple timeline wars, species die out, species leave, come back, and all of a sudden it's barren. The Anunnaki come in and go, where's all this technology? And a bunch of, primitive-looking people with high spiritual technology. And they go, scratch their head. And that's when they realized, that's us. They're DNA related to us. Okay, the being that lured them here, lured them to trap them into this society. To get into Earth's solar system, you need to use the stargates of the sun to get in here. You have to have spiritual relations or DNA relations to get into a solar system. That's essentially how all of them work. The Anunnaki, as a free-roaming galactic planet, came into our solar system, and they never knew they had DNA relations to us, but the being that was luring them did. Trapped them in the incarnation cycle and stripped them of their most powerful psychics and forced them into a reincarnation cycle. And then the second layer, the second most powerful layer, became the new DNA inputs for the skin suit technology that we have here, because they needed the Anunnaki technology, the Anunnaki DNA, and the soul codes, because the Anunnaki had traveled all over the universe with their planet that can go anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Well, the main control beings have been trying to collect soul codes. Soul codes determine your DNA and soul relations to a solar system. It determines where you can go. If you're a person that has only lived on 10 planets, you can only go to those 10 planets on a soul level. If you want to go to more, you have to incarnate into all of them. So what these beings were doing were drawing people here that had soul codes from all over. So they needed the Anunnaki because they had a piece to the puzzle that would open up this section of the universe, this section of the universe, this section of the universe, so on and so forth. They got pulled in here. Now Stitchin was pretty much right about mining Earth, but it wasn't about the materials. It was literally that the energy that was in the materials needed to go somewhere else, so that the souls that were Earth-based souls who had migrated away would sense the energy of the gold somewhere else and then be lured back into the machine. That's these control. That's how they're playing the system here. The Anunnaki still have free will, but truly didn't understand the scale of the game they got brought into.
Wow. So in a sense, they were there, even though there are no victims. They were in a sense victims, just like the rest of us. So now the Anunnaki would they be reptilian in nature, draconian, or?
That's the thing. They already had enough skin suit technology that they're a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Not everything,
Okay.
but they had enough.
Okay.
I mean, they looked similar to humans,
Okay.
but there were several breeds of them that chose different DNA patterns, even though they were the same species. They could do anything they wanted to their DNA.
And was it the Anunnaki or these original 15 beings that developed the genetics that could present as a light being? In other words, they've taken the best of the genetics of all the races and created a false light matrix.
Correct. False light matrix essentially began by bringing the Anunnaki here.
Okay.
Okay. False light beings, false light technology was literally created by the Anunnaki and then spread to the rest of the planets of domination and control.
Wow.
Remember I said there's womb chakras?
Mm-hmm.
That if you live on that surface, the planet interacts with you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you bring an Anunnaki DNA master and an Anunnaki weapons master and you put them there next to a pyramid that raises their consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
what are they going to create? Mass weapons of war,
Right.
mass consciousness, technological DNA devices that can be spread to an industrial system of domination and control planets.
Wow. So, in a sense, Earth has become like a breeding ground for domination and control of the rest of the galaxy.
Because of the chakras, the womb chakras here. We have 200.
Okay.
And that is unique and beyond unique. There are other planets out there that have womb chakras, but they all have 3 or 4.
Wow.
Okay, we have 200.